Nobody expected this drill sergeant to cry. Staff Sergeant Michael Williams had broken thousands of recruits over 25 years. He was famous for making grown men cry, for turning soft civilians into hardened Marines. But today, a 19-year-old recruit said 3 words that made the toughest man in the military break down completely. It was week 3 of basic training at Parris Island. The South Carolina heat was unbearable, but that was nothing compared to the heat that Sergeant Williams brought to his recruits every single day. At 48 years old, Williams was a legend among drill instructors. 6'2", 220 pounds of pure intimidation, with a voice that could shatter glass and a stare that could melt steel. "Get on the ground, now!" Williams screamed at Private Danny Miller, a skinny kid from Ohio who looked like he'd never seen a gym in his life. "You think this is summer camp? You think mommy's gonna come save you?" The young recruit's face went pale, but he didn't move fast enough for Williams's liking. "I said drop! What's wrong with you, boy? You deaf and stupid? Maybe the Marine Corps made a mistake recruiting you." Private Miller hit the ground and started doing push-ups, his arms shaking with each repetition. The other recruits watched nervously, knowing they could be next in Williams's crosshairs. "Faster! My grandmother moves faster than you and she's been dead for 10 years. Williams bent down next to Miller's ear. "You're pathetic. You're weak. You don't belong here." That's when Private Miller looked up with tears in his eyes and said the 3 words that changed everything. "Just like Dad." Sergeant Williams froze. His angry face suddenly went blank. Something in those words hit him like a bullet to the chest. "What did you just say?" Williams whispered, his voice completely different now. "You sound just like my dad," Miller repeated, still doing push-ups, "before he died in Afghanistan." The entire platoon went silent. Williams stood up slowly, staring down at the young recruit. For the first time in 25 years, Sergeant Williams was speechless. "Stand up, recruit," Williams said quietly. Miller jumped to his feet, confusion written all over his face. He'd never heard Williams speak in anything other than a roar. "What did you say about your father?" "He was a Marine, Sergeant. Gunnery Sergeant Daniel Miller. He died in Helmand Province when I was 12. Williams felt his chest tighten. The name hit him like a physical blow. Danny Miller. He remembered that name. He remembered that face. He remembered the flag-draped coffin. "Daniel Miller," Williams repeated, his voice cracking slightly. "Big guy, red hair, from Columbus?" Private Miller's eyes widened. "You knew my dad?" And that's when the impossible happened. The toughest drill sergeant in the entire military started crying. Not just a single tear, but full, uncontrolled sobbing that echoed across the training.
The story Williams had never told anyone came pouring out. March 15th, 2011, Helmand Province, Afghanistan. Williams was a young sergeant then, leading a patrol through a village when the IED exploded. The blast threw him 20 feet, broke 3 ribs, and left him pinned under a collapsed wall. Gunnery Sergeant Daniel Miller, who was supposed to be at the base that day, had volunteered for the patrol at the last minute. When the explosion happened, Miller didn't hesitate. While enemy fire erupted around them, Miller ran toward the collapsed building where Williams was trapped. "Your dad lifted a concrete beam off my chest," Williams said, tears streaming down his face. "Carried me 200 yards to the evacuation point. Took a sniper bullet in the shoulder doing it, but he never stopped running." The young recruit was crying now too, hearing details about his father's final mission that he'd never known. "The medics said I'd be dead if he hadn't gotten me out when he did. Your father saved my life, and I never got to thank him properly." 3 days later, his convoy hit another IED. He didn't make it home. Williams knelt down in front of Private Miller, this tough-as-nails drill instructor on his knees in front of a recruit. "I went to your father's funeral," Williams continued. "Saw you there, a little kid in a suit that was too big. Saw your mom trying to be strong. I wanted to tell you then what your dad meant to me, but I couldn't find the words." Private Miller was sobbing now. "I remember you. You were one of the Marines who gave my mom the flag. I've thought about your family every day for 12 years, Williams said. And here you are in my platoon, and I've been treating you like... His voice broke completely. The other recruits watched in stunned silence as their intimidating drill sergeant had the most human moment any of them had ever witnessed. Your father was the best Marine I ever served with, Williams said, composing himself slightly. He was tough, but he was tough because he cared. He pushed people because he wanted them to survive. He saved my life because that's what Marines do for each other. Williams stood up and looked at the entire platoon. I want you all to listen to me. I'm hard on you because this isn't a game. The enemy doesn't care if you're tired or homesick or scared. They'll kill you without thinking twice. My job is to make sure you come home to your families. He turned back to Private Miller. Your father didn't just save my life that day. He taught me what it means to be a Marine. Every recruit I've trained since then, I've tried to give them the strength and courage your dad showed me. From that day forward, everything changed in Williams' platoon. He was still tough, still demanding, but there was something different. The recruits saw the man behind the uniform. They understood that his harshness came from a place of love, not cruelty.
Private Miller became one of the best recruits in the platoon. He had his father's natural leadership ability and his mother's quiet strength. When other recruits struggled, Miller helped them. When they wanted to quit, he reminded them why they were there. 3 months later, at graduation, Private Miller received the Honor Graduate Award. As Williams pinned the medal on Miller's chest, he leaned in and whispered, "Your dad would be proud." Miller's mother was in the audience that day. After the ceremony, Williams approached her with something he'd been carrying for 12 years. A letter he'd written to thank her husband, but never had the courage to send. "Ma'am," Williams said, "I served with your husband in Afghanistan. He saved my life, and I've regretted every day that I never properly thanked him. I know it's too late for him to hear it, but I wanted you to know that he was a hero in every sense of the word." Miller's mother broke down crying, holding the letter her husband would never read. "He talked about you," she said. In his last letter home, he mentioned pulling a young sergeant to safety. He said he hoped you made it home to your family. Williams nodded, tears in his eyes again. "I did make it home. I got married, had 2 kids, built a life, all because of your husband's courage." 5 years later, now Sergeant Danny Miller returned to Parris Island as a drill instructor himself. His first day on the job, he found Williams, now a master sergeant, waiting for him. "Ready to carry on your father's legacy?" Williams asked. "Yes, Sergeant. Ready to make sure they all come home." Danny Miller became known as one of the most effective drill instructors at Parris Island. Like Williams, he was tough but fair. Like his father, he led by example. And like both men who had shaped his military career, he understood that sometimes the greatest strength comes from showing vulnerability. On the wall of Miller's office hangs a photo of his father in dress blues, next to a photo of Williams receiving the Silver Star for his actions in Afghanistan. Below both photos is a simple inscription. Heroes don't always look like heroes. Sometimes they look like the person pushing you to be better. The day that Sergeant Williams broke down crying in front of his recruits became legend at Parris Island. It reminded everyone that behind every tough exterior is a human being with a story, with loss, with love. It showed that real strength isn't about never crying. It's about being strong enough to cry when it matters. Sometimes the people who seem the hardest on us are actually the ones who care the most. Sometimes the drill sergeant breaking you down is actually building you up. And sometimes 3 simple words, just like Dad, can change.